Harold McDaniel back again with a another weather modification expose type video, and I decided to revisit the subject after running across a very important piece of evidence involving weather modification and the symbolism that I have already covered in the past couple of videos, in particular involving the low pressure blue and high pressure symbolism for H. In other societies on the lower half of the face of the earth, mainly Australia, they still use the proper color coding of red H and blue L. Red high pressure involving high temperature, high pressure, low. In the blue coloration representing low temperature, low pressure. Of course, I've covered in other videos that the United States Weather Service, when I noticed it, was in May of 2010. And I ran across this video of a meteorologist in the Kansas City, Missouri area by the name of Don Harmon, who allegedly committed suicide on November 29, 2011. And this individual, and just so happened, his last broadcast on the same day, November 29th of 11, he made comments involving the function of low pressure, the effect of low pressure. And his two comments, in my opinion, came across as very sarcastic. And I will play the clips from his forecast, those sound bites where he made the comments regarding cold fronts and barometric pressure, and he speaks absolute truth when he makes his comments. And I will play those sound bites coming right up, and then I will compare his comments to the revised laws of nature made by Mystery Babylon according to Daniel 7:25. And these clips are coming right up.
7 degrees here on Signal Hill. All right, we're in the 30s. We're actually a little warmer north and west, a little bit more wind out there, kind of stirring up the atmosphere a bit. So mid-30s compared to low 20s yesterday, and actually a weak little cold front's moving in, although it's not going to be colder than yesterday, so kind of weird, right? There's that northwest wind already about 15. That'll be up to 20 probably as the afternoon wears on. Not much for us. Got a few high clouds skipping by. Should be a pretty nice sunrise, really. Look what's going on down here. I'll take you down here in a second with a separate sector showing the snow down into Dixie, northern parts of Mississippi, Alabama. A couple inches of snow near Cape Girardeau, Caruthersville, Missouri, picking up some snow, wrapping around that upper level low. So it's a heavy, wet, sloppy kind of snow. But you get 3, 4, 5 inches of that. Parts of Tennessee, northern Dixie. This time of year, they start to wonder what's going on. So that's kind of the big deal there. You can see that on the water vapor with that big orb. It's kind of spinning over the southeastern states. Pressure is lower here. Therefore, the temperatures are lower there. So whenever you dramatically decrease atmospheric pressure, that's why you can cool things off quite a bit. We're fairly quiet for a while. Still have our next system now in the Pacific Northwest, and that's the next thing we got to watch. There's that one upper level low. We got a few high clouds nearby. Here's the system we chatted about yesterday. It looks fairly impressive, and it really is kind of impressive. And it's going to scoot like this and kind of drop into the southwestern states. The big question is, what does it do? Does it? Well, I'm going to get to that. That's the big question. What does it do? I think it's going to give us rain. I'm going with a certain solution that is rain-oriented, 34 now. If the other one pans out, we're going to have 6 inches of snow. I just flat out think that's wrong. Okay. There's your long range. I should have shown you temperatures for today. We're going to be in the 40s, 52 by Thursday. Here comes that next system with rain on Saturday, and I think it's going to move out. Maybe a snowflake Sunday morning, but I think that's it. I am specifically going with one model. Well, now, hang on. The current system over the southeastern states was much better handled by the European model than the American model. I am therefore going with the European model with this next system.
We like the European
as well. I tell you, you can't CYA. The viewer wants to know what we think is going to happen, not what could happen.
You know what I feel coming on? I'm going to be the psychic in the room. I feel the live shot coming on of how to prepare your car for winter.
Well, now, hang on. The current system over the southeastern states was much better handled by the European model than the American model. I am therefore going with the European model with this next system.
We like the European
as well. I tell you, you can't CYA. The viewer wants to know what we think is going to happen, not what could happen.
You know what I feel coming on? I'm going to be the psychic in the room.
I tell you, you can't CYA. The viewer wants to know what we think is going to happen, not what could happen.
You know what I feel coming on? I'm going to be the psychic coming on. I'm going to be the psychic. I feel coming on. I'm going to be the psychic in the room.
There's no doubt Mark Alford was trying to cover, he was trying to divert attention away from Don Harmon, who was basically calling out the system. He definitely deviated from the script and was calling out, the strange goings on, no doubt, of the so-called weather models. And he was referencing the southeast states, where he made the comment about if you lower atmospheric pressure, you will lower temperature. He said it was sarcasm, but he spoke absolute truth. And meteorologists nowadays don't go there. They don't speak in terms of real nature like that. They're on a different script, and that's the script of weather modification. And apparently Don Harmon was not with the program. Now, this all could be scripted as a dramatic flair for his last ever weather broadcast. I personally don't believe that man committed suicide, but I'm not going to go into the area of fake death and all that. That's not the purpose of this video. I do not believe people are one day, doing their job, in particular a career he had, and decide, well, I'm going to go home and just end my life. That's not how life works. I'm sorry, I don't buy it, never didn't buy it back in 2011, even more so today. But again, I'm not going to go into what I think happened to the guy. But his whole attitude there was one of rebellion, and even the comments of the following day, where they gave his little memorial over the air, as his colleagues were commenting on how they felt about his untimely death. They actually mentioned his attitude that day. Check this out.
Everyone in a case like this wants to do something, wants to offer their condolences. Please do. And we're going to be saving all those for Avery to read when she gets old enough to understand what happened, because she needs to know how great a dad she really had.
And there's one other thing that Don's sister Hattie wanted us to tell you. He did end his own life. Don had struggled with depression for a long time, and please know that he tried all kinds of things that we tried also. Yeah. Everyone here who loved him and family tried to help.
He was in a mood that day. What was it, Tuesday, when
he was in a mood.
We always tried to.
We did try, but we do want you to know his family especially. We also
knew how to push his buttons too. So.
Yeah. You were a pro.
You walked him up to the edge.
And there you have it. There's the days following, the few days following his alleged suicide. And again, I'm not going to get into what really happened to this meteorologist, but it is very interesting that they said he was in a mood. He struggled with depression. He was in a mood, and that I illustrated earlier his whole sort of cavalier attitude towards the weather, and how the so-called European model and versus the American model were conflicting. And again, that is a very dramatic effect for a meteorologist to make a statement like that, and then, hours later, kill himself. So, within the matrix of planet Earth, that's real. That actually happened in the matrix. And I am not in that matrix. So that's as far as I'm going to go with that. But what I want to focus on is his comments versus, the comments regarding the barometric pressure versus the speech of the new order of Mystery Babylon, according to Daniel 7:25. Coming right up.
Actually, a weak little cold front's moving in, although it's not going to be colder than yesterday, so kind of weird, right? Yesterday, and actually a weak little cold front's moving in, although it's not going to be colder than yesterday, so kind of weird, right? Yesterday, so kind of weird, right? Yesterday, and actually a weak little cold front's moving in, although it's not going to be colder than yesterday, so kind of weird, right? With that big orb, it's kind of spinning over the southeastern states. Pressure is lower here, therefore the temperatures are lower there. So whenever you dramatically decrease atmospheric pressure, that's why you can cool things off quite a bit.
In a low pressure system, the air is warm, so the water vapor rises.
Pressure is lower here, therefore the temperatures are lower there. So whenever you dramatically decrease atmospheric pressure, that's why you can cool things off quite a bit.
In a low pressure system, the air is warm.
Its pressure is lower here, therefore the temperatures are lower there. So whenever you dramatically decrease atmospheric pressure, that's why you can cool things off quite a bit.
Developing out in the western part of the country that's going to set up a warm front. It's developing out in the western part of the country that's going to set up a warm front.
Pressure is lower here, therefore the temperatures are lower there. So whenever you dramatically decrease atmospheric pressure, that's why you can cool things off quite a bit. We're fairly quiet.
And there you have it. You have meteorologist Don Harmon, the late Don Harmon, giving his forecast with his veering off script and giving truth in how barometric pressure responds to a low pressure system versus the narrative of the New World Order and weather modification. He was describing a scenario that occurs in a true pressurized system. Therefore, your barometric pressure can only occur in a pressurized system, and he is definitely describing Palace Earth, okay, flat surface with the firmament creating pressure. It's the only way you can have pressure, people, and that's the only way we can survive. The way the Lord designed creation, we need to be stable, not spinning around, and we need to be pressurized, and we need an infiltration of fresh air constantly via the four winds. And that's basically, I believe Don Harmon more than likely didn't want to go with this whole, this new modification system. I don't think he wanted any part of it, so he had to be eliminated. And again, I don't believe the man committed suicide. And this is the Matrix narrative. And then within the Matrix, everything is real. Whatever they present is real, although in the reality of John 3:21, we know different, okay? That's the reality of Jesus Christ, and the reality of Jesus Christ is pure truth. The reality of the domain of shame that Satan has created, better known as planet Earth, is full of deception and lies. Now, this next clip is another local meteorologist. He is going to basically illustrate the compliance and the convoluted rewriting of laws. It would be strictly contradictory to Don Harmon's final forecast. Coming right up right here. Okay, this clip here, watch how Lee Zach is going to display the vortex man-made front system, and I'm going to let it play, and I'll comment after it plays.
Wisconsin there. Then our next storm drops into the west, and as that does happen, we're going to have this setup for Saturday, a low pressure area winding into the western part of the country. This is a warm front, and the warm moist air from the Gulf of Mexico will be moving northward. So by Sunday, we have a low pressure area to our north. A winter storm develops. Cold blast is trying to come down, but not until Sunday night, Christmas night late.
Now, did you just hear that? Where do I begin on this? Okay, let's just rewind a little bit. Let's start right here. Okay, look at what he's describing. This is a man-made scenario. You got a warm front. I hope you guys can see that. You got a warm front here attached to a cold front on a low pressure system. He is acknowledging this is a low pressure system. So what is this? He's not even acknowledged a high pressure system. Look, flowing, it's giving us a suggestion that this high pressure system is actually causing this cold front. Judging by the arrow, the flow of these arrows, okay? But it's got a warm front moving with a cold front. And so where do these two meet? What happens at the meeting point? And then it's going to move over Kansas City by Christmas night, by Sunday night. This high pressure system is not causing this warm front. What's causing this warm front, this warm air? What's causing this warm front? A low pressure system is causing the warm front to move from the south, and it's bringing the cold front with it. This is what this man is suggesting. That this low pressure system is bringing up this warm air and bringing a cold front with it. This hasn't happened yet. This is going to happen over the next couple of days, and he knows, okay, this high pressure system is doing what? It's creating a cold front. Look at it finish.
Front, and the warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico will be moving northward. So by Sunday, we have a low pressure area to our north. A winter storm develops. Cold blast is trying to come down.
Okay, so now he's got the high pressure system way up here. That's not this warm front. The high pressure system's way up here, past the Great Lakes. What's this warm front? Where is this a high pressure system in here, sir? Is that an H? Shouldn't there be an H in here? What is this? That's man-made. That's HAARP. That's HAARP. That's what that is. And they're staging a storm. Or should be warm flowing to cold. Warm flowing to cold. But it doesn't dissipate. That warm flow, the natural flow, should have been warm to cold. It doesn't dissipate. It doesn't overwhelm it. It moves, they move together. A continuous motion because it is man-induced. He's acknowledging that,
but
basically.
Not until Sunday night, Christmas night late. So Kansas City, 6 p.m. Chiefs game, we might have a west wind. The rain should be shutting down, and it looks pretty good. So for the Chiefs, 61-2.
Setting us up for another fake game. Nobody, I don't care about that.
Gulf of Mexico will be moving north.
Will not dissipate.
So by Sunday, we have a low pressure.
How come that cold air hasn't overtaken that warm air? Why? Why is it maintained? All right, because it's man-induced. And man-induced, indeed, it is. Again, here's imagery of, from the old days where weather did its thing, and it was illustrated as doing such. Warm flowing to cold, cold front overtaking a warm front. And apparently in Australia, they're still doing that. I haven't actually heard of Australia weather forecast, but the imagery that I look up online suggests that they are still playing by the rules and allowing weather to do its own thing. Within the enclosed area of Palace Earth, pressurized systems are being manipulated through means of chemtrails in the HAARP wave. That is my theory on that, and I believe that is what's going on. Within the domain of shame, they'll have us think that other things are going on. They will win the argument of global warming because, number one, the globe only exists in the matrix, so they can manipulate that narrative all day long. And climate change will definitely win out the argument, because they're changing the climate through their manipulation techniques. All happening in the domain of shame of planet Earth. Well, hopefully that this video shed some light on the reality of weather modification. It's a huge subject, just as big as discovering the truth about Earth. We live within an enclosed environment, a flat, stable plane created by our Lord Jesus Christ, who will win out the day. He will come soon and put an end to this madness. So we have great hope, and we're looking forward to that great day. And with that being said, may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you all.